Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Nathan.
And welcome to episode 41 of Adventures and Mousecapades. This is our continuation of a very long trip report.
Indeed. This is kind of episode 40.1, if you will. We are going to pick up where we last left off last week and carry on with the show. So our previous selves had no idea that this was the beginning of a new podcast episode, so it may sound a little wonky and just kind of pick up in the middle of a thread of consciousness, but we'll do our best.
Yes.
So bear with us and enjoy.
Enjoy. The next morning, we started off at Cabanas.
Cabanas. It's fancy.
It's not. And there's a couple things that I love on the Disney cruises with regards to food at Cabanas. One is they have chocolate croissants that taste like the chocolate croissants that I had in France. Two is the hash browns, although you can get these at any of the Disney buffets. And three is pog juice. Alas, they did not have any pog juice on this cruise. I was devastated. No,
they had some in the bars for mixed drinks, but they didn't have pog juice available in Cabanas.
No.
I'm
unfortunate.
Sorry.
But I got my chocolate croissant and I got my hash browns and other stuffs.
Yeah. I can't remember. Did I not go to breakfast with you guys?
I don't know.
We have a picture that I remember taking in here of some little mini cinnamon rolls that are Mickey shaped that I got from the concierge lounge. I remember that was part of my breakfast. That may have been second breakfast. Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah.
But they were delicious.
Yeah.
It was interesting. A couple pictures of a seabird that was flying alongside the ship as we were moving forward here. And Caitlin and I watched this guy for a little bit. It was a wicked smart bird. So he was pacing along with the bow of the ship, and then every so often you'd see a flying fish jump out of the way. And that's just a thing that you will see throughout the Caribbean and kind of throughout anywhere. Now that I think about it, we've seen them in the Pacific on the West Coast as well. And when a flying fish jumped, this bird went after the fish and then would, get us a little snack and then come back along and start pacing the boat again. So this is one smart bird who has figured out how his meal can be foraged for him by the several thousand tons of shipping. It was rather smart, rather ingenious.
There you go. This was a sea day for us, and we just kind of took it easy. Caitlin and I went and did 3D crafts in the afternoon and made little mini Disney Cruise Line ships.
Yep. Paper folding ships. Yeah,
and they had that over at the Tube, which is one of the nightclubs over there. And then Nathan and I had a chocolate and liquor tasting. And we'll talk all about the mixology, the chocolate and liquor. We'll talk all about the adult dining and libations on the next podcast. We'll go over those a little bit more.
Suffice to say, the chocolate and liquor tasting is our favorite.
Yes.
And was amazing.
Yep. As always. We just like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
One of the nice things about the concierge lounge is there's always munchies out if you want to have a little snack. And I have a picture of this. Basically, it was a fig and prosciutto finger sandwich. And it was amazing. It was so good. And I think this was about 3:00 or so. We were done with the chocolate and liquor tasting, and I just want a little snack after all of that drinking. That evening, the show was Aladdin.
Yeah, we went to the concierge. It was about a half hour or 45 minutes before the show.
Mm-hmm.
You gather in the concierge lounge, and they bring you down a service elevator. And basically we get access to the theater first before the doors are open. And so we got a great set of seats right next to the sound booth, first row of the kind of second section there. Yeah, it was a really fantastic spot to watch the show.
This is something new that they started this year, I
Yes.
believe, where they are having concierge guests can go in a little bit earlier, like 5 minutes before they open the doors for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
They can go in and choose seats. They also provide popcorn
Yes.
for concierge guests as well. This is nice. We haven't been able to utilize this before. I quite liked this option. And the popcorn thing is a new perk also. You can present your concierge key to the world card at any of the popcorn locations and you just get popcorn.
And that's any time.
That's anytime. You don't
Right.
have to pay the regular fee for it.
Right. Before the shows, they had a cart, kind of like a wheeled cart with a whole bunch of popcorn
Yes.
buckets on it. That as you came off the elevator, you just grabbed one and
Yeah.
walked into the theater. But
Yep.
yeah, it was pretty good. The show was
It was okay.
It's okay.
There's some moments in there that were honestly slightly terrifying.
yeah.
But it was still enjoyable.
Yeah. At one point the company of dancers all has genie masks on.
That's the slightly terrifying part.
And it was
It's slightly terrifying.
yeah. Yeah. It
Honestly.
was-
Mhm.
Okay, I don't want to think about that anymore.
Okay. That's fine. We can go on to dinner. We had late dinner, so we did shows first and then dinner.
Yes.
And this evening was at Enchanted Garden.
Yes.
I did not enjoy this menu as much. I just didn't like the choices that were available. Yeah, it just wasn't my favorite.
Yeah. This was the most disappointing grilled cheese I had of the whole voyage.
Yeah.
It looked amazing when it was delivered. Like the bread is grilled and toasted just to perfection visually. But it was cold and they had clearly just grilled some bread and then thrown a couple slices of cheese in there. The cheese wasn't really melted. Yeah, it was incredibly disappointing. Yeah, the head server, so kind of like the manager, wasn't around the first night or the second night. We found out that he had come down with kind of a little bit of a head cold and had been in quarantine for a few days. He showed up on the third night, and we definitely had a conversation about the grilled cheeses, and they got significantly better for the rest of the voyage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was this was not impressing at all.
The food choices we had, let's see. I had 2 appetizers. I had the North Atlantic lobster ravioli and the Applewood smoked bacon wild mushroom tart. I don't like mushrooms, but for some reason this tart sounded good to me. And it was this one was quite enjoyable. The ravioli was okay. I just picked out the mushrooms. I also had a raspberry salad, which was pretty good. It had majority of the leaves were spinach, and I like spinach leaves. And I think both myself, Nathan, and Caitlin all had the slow roasted prime rib for dinner.
Yeah. It was it wasn't bad.
No.
The presentation was
could have been better.
It could have been better. I mean, it had a baked potato with it.
Twice baked potato.
Baked potato. And mine, they put the potato in the middle of the plate and then just kind of like plopped the meat down on top of it, which you go through all that effort to make a fancy looking potato and
I'm not a huge fan of prime rib. And so the fact that I ordered this means that the other choices just were not what I wanted.
Yep.
That's all right.
Yep.
Enjoyable company though. So that was good.
Yeah.
This was formal night. So we were all dressed to the nines.
Indeed.
And as we were leaving the restaurant, Nathan and I like to try to order a canvas on all the cruises that we go on.
Yeah.
And there was one canvas that we really liked. So I took note of it, and we were going to go check with the shops and see what they had available. But as we were leaving, Peter Pan was coming down the stairs and saw Sterling in his wonderful 3-piece suit, nice purple 3-piece suit, and just stopped and started talking with Sterling. And they had like a nice, I don't know, it was like a 5-10 minute interaction. And he just basically took Sterling aside and they had their own little conversations. They had like a little bitty dance battle. It was kind of cool. And went into the atrium area and we're just talking about the ship. And it was so cute.
Yeah.
We got some good pictures of Sterling and Peter. It was nice.
Yeah. Let's see. We had a monkey in the room that night.
We had a monkey in the room.
We took pictures by the stairwell of us. I think it was semi-formal. It wasn't full formal night.
Okay.
But yeah, we had a picture of the whole crew, and yeah, I think we had evening cocktails up at the Cove Bar. Which, pro tip, that is a full service bar. Most people just think of the Cove as a place to go get fancy coffee. They also have a full bar, and Christopher was there as the head bartender on the Fantasy at the Cove, and he was a magician behind the bar. One of the best bartenders on the ship right now. So don't forget that's a bar too, especially in the evenings.
The next day, I think, was another sea day.
Yep, it was.
Yeah, we spent some time up at the concierge sun deck reading, and then Caitlin and I went to go see Encanto in one of the theaters. So we did that, and we had lunch at Royal Court. Caitlin and I did. She had a mild chicken curry, which she said was absolutely delicious, and I got a baked ziti pasta, and that was really delicious too. And then we shared a macadamia nut brownie pie. So for lunches, you can go to one of the restaurants. Usually it's like Triton's or Royal Court, or usually like the atrium level, wherever the restaurant is right there. That usually has a sit-down lunch. You can also go to Cabanas or just any of the quick service places up on deck. But if you want to do a nice sit-down, that's always available for you.
And that's included. That's not an extra charge.
I think this was just a relaxation afternoon, really.
Yep. And Bill and Rachel went off and they had dinner at Remy. And so it was Andrew and Mare and the four of us hanging out for dinner.
Yeah.
And dinner was at Royal Court as well.
Yes.
And again, this is one of my favorite menus.
Yes, this is another really good menu.
The fancy French menu at Royal Court. And it starts off with escargot. And I love their escargot. I ordered 2 of those for appetizers. And it was not up to snuff. It was, I don't know. It was just really, really missing. It just wasn't cooked well. Like it was almost undercooked. It was like the tastes were mostly kind of there. It wasn't great. It wasn't great.
Did not live up to expectations.
No, hardly.
Yeah. And Sterling, for some reason, did escargot for this as well. And I tried to talk him out of it. I was like, Dad's getting escargot. You don't need to get it too. And he's like, no, I'm going to get it. I'm like, not going to eat any of them. He had one.
Yeah, he had one.
Yep. This menu also has the baked brie, which I love so much. And Caitlin got the baked brie too. It was devoured. It was good, but it was not on par with how it has been in the past. Main course wise, Caitlin got the rack of lamb. I got the crispy roasted duck breast, and Nathan got the Chateaubriand filet. And Sterling got looks like he just got a sirloin steak.
Yep.
The kid's sirloin.
Yep. Again, it was all pretty good, but it wasn't stellar. I'm starting to wonder, and I remember thinking this on the ship. We were second seating, which we've done before, and it hasn't been an issue. But it almost feels like they were preparing a lot of these dishes earlier, and then they were sitting.
Oh.
And I Now that I'm thinking about it, I remember thinking this, especially about the escargot. Like, it just did not seem as fresh as it has in the past. The breadsticks that they sent along with were definitely on the stale side, for sure. Some of the food execution is just not quite there right now, at least in my experience here on the Fantasy.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that getting back as everybody gets back up to speed and everything after the pandemic. But it was just a little lacking.
Wasn't quite there.
Nope.
And our table servers put out a little puzzle for the kids and the young at heart to try to figure out, and none of us could get it.
No. Nope.
I love these, and I love that they have new ones too.
Yeah.
For dessert, let's see. I think this was a raspberry mousse slice. It looked kind of like a lady finger, but I think it was raspberry. And apple tart tatin. I don't know. And Grand Marnier souffle. I love the Grand Marnier souffles. This was good.
Yeah, the apple tart was really good as well.
Our servers also made origami for the kiddos.
Oh, that's right.
Caitlin got a fish, and I think Sterling got one too, and they loved them. They're really well done too. These are quite nice.
Now, we had a great debate yesterday as we were going through the pictures as a family as to what our towel animal was that evening.
The girls think it's a dog.
And Sterling is very sure it's a pig. I think it's a pig dog.
Okay.
It is a amorphous thing with big ears, 4 legs,
and some sort of snout.
Yeah, it's definitely wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know.
No. Our next day was Port Day. We were at Tortola.
I loved this. This was a fantastic day.
Yes. We found the last time we were on the Fantasy, the last time we hit Tortola, we found a charter just through research that we used and we loved. So we did another charter with them this go round. And I think every time we go to Tortola, we are going to use this group because we absolutely love them. They provide a phenomenal day. The captains and the crew are just great.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. This was with Aristocat Charters.
Yes.
And they are out of Tortola.
Yes. And they have a few different spots on the island that they can pick you up from. The one of them is very close to the cruise ship dock. It's, I don't know, maybe a 10-minute walk from the dock. Yeah. It's not very difficult to get over there. And it was a full day sail. They're super familiar with the cruise ship schedules. Mm-hmm. So it's not they understand what time you're going to get in, what time you need to be back. It's just not a big deal. And I think we've talked about them before.
On the last one,
so
we talked about them.
It was, this was a highlight of the week. Frankly, like we just had so much fun with them and really with the whole crew on this trip. We started off over at the caves and did a bunch of snorkeling. There's like these 3 caves you could swim into if you dare. And we all had an absolute blast, and the deckhands started throwing beers at us in the water. It was pretty great. And Sterling wanted to help out, and so he started collecting our empty beer cans, and in his
life vest,
in his life jacket. Yep. And so we were crushing up our empty beer cans and sticking them in the straps of his life jacket, and then he'd float them over to the ship or to the sailboat. So
he went out just asking other people that were on the charter with us if they had any recycles that he could take for them.
Full service.
Yes.
We teach our kids well.
Uh-huh. We had lunch at basically a floating bar and restaurant over in the Bite area. Is that what it was?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. This is William Thornton or Willie T's floating bar and restaurant.
That was a blast.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yep. Jumped off to the second deck up there up top. and into the water. And yeah, we just had a grand old time.
Yeah.
And then we headed over to Peter Island, and there's a beautiful, I think it's called Little Harbor, and just really enjoyed swimming around and snorkeling. And there were some turtles around, and had a grand old time, and continued the Sterling continued his service to everybody on the water. And we took one of our soft coolers off of the ship that we got from, I think it was one of the Castaway Club coolers.
Yep.
And we had stocked that up with beers and ice, and put a life preserver around that.
It was a snorkel belt. We put a snorkel belt around it.
That's right. Yeah, so we had a cooler with us as we were floating around in the ocean, and we had Sterling was enjoying his service to the crew and to everybody else, and taking care of his recycles. So
I think at one point he had like 8 or 9 cans of recycling in just in his vest belt area, and I said, you should go, I don't know, go drop that off at the boat. So he went over to the boat, and the crew just lost it.
Yeah.
But he was having fun. We were all having fun. It was a very good day.
It was a fantastic day.
Yeah. And at the end of it, we went back to the ship. Nathan and I had Remy that night.
Yep.
We will talk about that in our next podcast.
Yes.
It was also pirate night.
Yes.
And the crew was at Animator's Palette for pirate night. The kids were there with them. They enjoyed the pirate menu and got to go to the pirate night deck party and watch the fireworks.
Indeed. And I will say that before we got back on board, we did.
Yes.
There happened to be a bar at the dock when we got back off the sailboat, and so we stopped there for some additional refreshments and some snacks. And then, as you can do on the Disney Cruise Line, we did a little shopping, and most of us carried on a 6-pack of local beer called 1864, because that's what they were serving on the sailboat, and we all kind of liked it. So
yeah,
we had to stock up, and it was fun. We had such a great day.
It was very nice. It was fun.
Yes.
And again, next time we go to Tortola, we will definitely be going with Aristocat Charters.
100%. Yeah, and Remy was fantastic too. Like, just spoiler alert, you have got to listen next week. Make sure you eat before that episode, though.
The towel animal that evening was Davy Jones.
Yes, that was really cool.
I love this one.
Yeah.
The next day was St. Thomas.
Yeah.
And tour.
No.
What was that?
That was the wrong.
Did you do Under the Sea?
Damn it, I did do Under the Sea.
St. Thomas?
Oh.
Do you mean that one?
Yeah.
Okay. You did Under the Sea.
I know I did. I realized it after about a measure. I was like, wait, this is the wrong song.
Oh, well. Yes. You went to St. Thomas.
Can't believe I did that.
The tour we did was an island tour and pirate museum thing. I do not recommend this tour. We will not do it again if we ended up in St. Thomas.
No, it was just as kitschy as you could imagine.
The pirate museum was okay. The island tour was not great. I mean, they're saying like you get to go see Blackbeard's castle. You don't really get to go see Blackbeard's castle.
You drive by the driveway. Yeah,
you drive by the driveway. You can kind of see it, but you don't even get out and look at it.
Yeah, it was.
That's where it is. It's right there. And I think it's because it's a private area, but don't tout it as a tour of Blackbeard's castle.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it was interesting.
It was also ridiculously hot this day.
It was really hot. It was really, really hot.
Now, there are some beautiful things. There's some nice scenery. There's a really cool statue of 3 ladies. I can't remember the history behind it.
They were all folks who had fought for like freedom. I forget all of the individual stories, but it was 3 different people who were influential in furthering human rights and things like that.
It's a beautiful statue. I think it's supposed to be a fountain and it was not working.
No.
But I think that was like the highlight of the tour.
Yeah.
And learning about all the stairs on St. Thomas, that was kind of cool too.
Oh yeah,
St.
all
Thomas
the stair roads.
has a lot of stairs.
Yes. Well, it's a volcanic island. Like it's steep in spots. So.
Yes. The Pirate Museum was kind of interesting. I mean, just learning about the history of all the islands around there and all the privateering and pirating that happened. There's some interesting exhibits and just artifacts from shipwrecks that you can take a look at. And they have like a torture area that has I don't know what to call it other than that. It has like an Iron Maiden in there, stocks and a couple other things, filed down Iron Maiden. Like there's no sharp points or anything. And some other things. They had some type of deal where you can make yourself look like a pirate. And I went up to it and it crashed.
Yeah, it was an interactive exhibit, and Alicia touched it, and it blue screened.
In a blue screen. Yep.
Yeah. So well done.
As it does.
Mm-hmm. You keep your hands away from my computers and things. That would be great.
Yeah.
Sterling was enthralled by this booth of like, can you survive our hurricane that purported to blast you with 75-mile-an-hour winds. I don't think the fans got the wind above 20, but he really wanted to do it.
I should tell him to just step outside in like the next couple of weeks when we get the Pineapple Express up here.
Right. Like next windstorm, go stand outside. It'll be way more impressive than whatever that little booth was.
We get I think 80 or 90 mile an hour winds up here sometime.
Oh yeah.
It gets really windy up here around Halloween.
Yes.
Let's see. This was only like a half day tour. Like we were done by 12.
Yes.
If that.
Yep.
And I was done. It was hot. I was not happy. Sterling wasn't doing great either. We met up with the crew, just happenstance.
At a bar. Shocker.
At a bar.
Shocking to nobody.
No, but this was not planned at all. We just found them.
We were walking back towards the ship, and all of a sudden, like I saw Bill outside, and I was like, "Oh well, I think we found him."
Yes, yeah. I think part of the reason was this was another day where the sunscreen did not make it into the backpacks with us. I don't know what happened, and it was hot. The sun was bright, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and it just wasn't a great tour. And Sterling and I weren't feeling it. We just wanted to go sit down in the cool ship. So he and I went back to the ship. We had lunch, at Royal Court.
Yeah, and Caitlin and I hung out at the restaurant and bar with the rest of the crew, and it was Rock City Brewing. It's right there by the cruise ship dock. It's actually a really fantastic restaurant. The food was excellent. I had a burger. They had shakes there. Caitlin really enjoyed hers. And we discovered, we just get to talking to the staff and things like that, and wanted a round of shots, and she said, "Well, what do you want?" I don't know. What do you recommend? What's local? What's interesting? And so we had ting bombs, which were well, you'll hear more about that tomorrow. But it was pretty funny though, because we all did a shot, and then obviously Caitlin didn't do a shot.
No.
But we all did a round, and then we all looked at each other like, oh, we need more. Another round, please.
While you all were having shots at the bar, Sterling and I had, Sterling had pizza and a milkshake, and I had a burger for lunch. And he was, I guess, perking up after food. He was kind of hangry, I believe. And then I was like, I am going to go find some friends and play. I'm like, okay, whatever. Go do that, dude. And I got baklava for dessert. And believe it or not, I'm going to say this right now. This was hands down the best thing that I had to eat on the ship.
Wow.
It was absolutely delicious. I don't know how to say it other than that. Really, it was flaky. I don't know what's in baklava. I really don't. But it had a lot of different nuts and honeyed flavored and all sorts of stuff. It was phenomenal. It's so good.
We did some grocery shopping
As you do.
as you do on the way back to the ship. Had all sorts of supplies and things like that to pick up, and that's actually legitimate. Like Bill loves to cook, and so he enjoys on all these travels. He finds all these things that he can't get locally in the States, and so we got all sorts of sauces and peppers and or not fruits, but like spices and things like that. So yeah, and maybe a few drinks to bring back on the ship, and yeah, it was good.
I have a little picture of a bee here, and I need to tell a story.
Okay.
So after my absolutely amazing baklava, I went back to the room so I could read on the veranda. And I noticed when I got onto the veranda that there was a bee in my chair. And I'm like, dude, little bee, move it. And so I kind of like pushed it over to another area, and it kind of flew around a little bit and then landed on the other chair. And I'm like, oh, he's not moving a lot. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he needs a drink. So I got a little thimble full of water and just poured it like right next to him. And the water beat it up, and he drank some water. I was like, oh, yay, I watered a bee.
Nice job.
And then he proceeded to walk off of the chair, fall on the ground, and die. Yeah.
So you gave him a bee his last meal.
I did. He had his last bit of water, and then he died.
Wow.
Yeah.
You sure that was water?
Yeah, it was from a Dasani bottle.
Okay.
Yep, that was that was a thing.
Well, Hero of the Year award for
yeah,
animal support there for you.
Anyway, onwards. Later that afternoon, Caitlin and I did the Midship Detective Agency. We did the Muppet option. I think it was like there's like 3 different options you can do, and they're varying levels of difficulty. And this is like supposedly the most difficult one.
Ooh.
So we did that, and we actually ran into a couple different characters on the ship while we were doing this. We saw Donald, and then later on we saw Daisy. I love the Midship Detective Agency. It's a lot of fun. It's an interactive scavenger hunt whodunit type game that takes you all throughout the ship to different interactive paintings throughout the ship. So they're on all different levels, and I don't think it doesn't really matter what order you go to for the interactive paintings. It just depends upon, I guess, where you go to whenever you go to it.
Yeah.
The game will change and go to that. So we did the Muppets one. It was a lot of fun. It took, I don't know, an hour and a half, maybe. But we found out who done it just in time to get back to the room to go out of port. And yeah, I think Sterling may have done this with one of his friends during one of the sea days as well.
Got it. I was hanging out with everybody else. I think we were in the adult pool.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking and
Shocker.
Yeah.
And I believe we were going to do trivia that night with the team, but I think it was like 90s trivia or something. It was absolutely packed. It was standing room only. The pub-like thing, I can't remember what it's called on the Fantasy. The pub there is not very large. Like on the Wonder, it's a pretty large pub.
Yeah, it's a huge pub.
Not. Yeah, it's not in the Fantasy. It's a smaller room. And it was full. It was very full.
All of those spaces are smaller on this ship, which is ironic because
except for the tube.
True. But like the pub and like all those, they're all a lot smaller than they are on the Wonder and the Magic,
which is weird because
it is weird.
It has more people that it can fit,
right?
So.
And from what we've heard, they're even smaller on the Wish. Yeah. So I don't.
We'll see how that is in March.
We will.
We will make sure to take part in trivias and check out the bars so we can talk about it later.
Exactly.
Dinner that evening was in Enchanted Garden again. This menu was better than the last one. Mm-hmm. Let's see. For appetizers, looks like we had a charcuterie board. Mm-hmm. I think Nathan, you and Caitlin had that.
Yep.
I had the garlic and parsley sautéed shrimp, and I think maybe I had 2 appetizers. I do that every once in a while. The garlic and parsley sautéed shrimp and the portobello triangolini pasta. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going all over the place here. Anyway, the charcuterie board looked good. Was that good?
It was super good. And I remember the grilled cheese this night was really good as well.
Oh, nice. I don't
Yes.
think, did we have a picture of the grilled cheese?
Did not take a picture of the grilled cheese.
We did not take a picture of the
No,
grilled cheese.
I
Well.
apologize.
The shrimp was yummy.
good.
Oh, I know what it was. Caitlin had the pasta. I had the fish.
Ooh.
And then Nathan, you had steak.
Yes.
And Sterling had a burger.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was nothing. It was a steak.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember the fish being pretty good. It actually kind of looks like chicken in the picture. I don't know why.
It does.
But it was good. And there was a chocolate cake for dessert. And our towel animal this evening was pretty epic.
Yeah, it was a shark.
We had a shark.
It was awesome. It was
Yeah.
like the size of the bed.
Mm-hmm.
It was really well done.
They used the blanket duvet type thing at the end of the bed for the shark, and then used like little washcloths for the fins.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It was awesome.
I think we'll do a picture group of all of our towel animals.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next morning, you got up early because you just woke up.
I just woke up early, and so I packed up my stuff and moved over to the concierge lounge and did podcast editing.
Nice.
Woo, exciting.
This was another sea day for us, and this was actually a day full of adult dining and libations because we had Palo brunch, we had mixology, and then we had Palo dinner. So you'll hear all about that on the next podcast.
Well, and then after mixology, then Bill and myself and Caitlin all went and got mani-pedis.
Oh, did you? That's right. That's
Yes. It was a full day.
Right. How was that?
That was good.
Yeah.
The woman who was working with us, who was actually doing my hands and feet, she was on the Panama Canal cruise.
On the Wonder?
She may have been on the cruise where we met Bill and Rachel. But
Okay.
like we'd seen her before.
Yeah.
She didn't remember me. I remembered her, but she definitely remembered Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rachel stopped by, and she remembered Rachel too. So yeah, it was really kind of funny, but
Nice.
It was fantastic. Like I really enjoyed being pampered.
Nice.
Caitlin picked the color, and we all got our feet done, our toes done in the same kind of like lavender, purpley color. I think Caitlin got her nails done in that color too. But yeah, it was cool. Enjoyed it.
Like I said, most of that day was Palo. I think we did Palo brunch and dinner.
Yes.
And then after we were all done with dinner, I noticed that they had some nice portrait stuff out. So we wanted to recreate a picture that we did on one of our cruises with Bill and Rachel and Andrew and Mare.
It was the
and-
Panama
and
Canal
us.
cruise.
Okay. We wanted to recreate that picture. They
Yeah.
had a white background out. I'm like, let's do it. And I had texted Caitlin. I was like, can you guys get dressed really fast and come down and be a part of these? And they did. Oh my gosh, they got dressed so fast.
Yeah.
And just ran down. They looked great. So we got some really good pictures with everybody.
The photographer was awesome, especially when we
yes.
were reposing like the same picture that we had done. He nailed it like 100%, and then had Caitlin like hold her phone in front of us, and so there's a picture of like the other picture of all of us in that same pose from a few years before. So it was fun. We had a great time.
Yes. Good pictures, good fun. And our towel animal that night, oh my gosh. It
Yeah,
was an alligator.
it was cool. Again, pretty much the whole bed.
Yep.
It seems like he wants to eat some chocolate.
Yes. Yeah, it does. Looks like it's trying to hoover it all up.
Yeah, exactly.
The next day was the last day on the cruise, and it was Castaway Day.
Yes.
I do not like having Castaway on the last day of our cruise.
No, that really kind of sucked.
Yes. We were lucky enough to be able to snag the Grand Cabana
Yeah.
for this one.
Cabana 21.
Yes,
The
there's
very end of the
only
line.
There's only one Grand Cabana, and this fits up to, I think it fits 10 people,
I think you can pay extra and have up to 16 if I remember correctly.
It's like a double cabana basically.
Yes.
It was very nice to have this. I do not like where they have it located.
No, it's way far away from everything.
It is, and the water is too shallow over there.
Yep.
And I'm sure that's going to differ depending upon the time of year that you're there.
Well, it was also dead low tide like during the middle of the day while we were there.
It was, I think, mid-calf deep. That seemed about right.
Mm-hmm.
It was not very deep at all. But it was a hell of a day. It was a lot of fun to be out on Castaway again. It's been a while since we've been to Castaway.
Yep. And the cast members took really good care of us.
Yes, they did.
Yes. We
So
kept the bartender busy.
We did keep the bartender busy. It started off not on a great note, though.
No.
So this is something that we think Disney could do differently on the island for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple different options you have to get to the beaches. You can just walk all the way from the ship to the beach. You can get on a tram. Well, those are your two choices, basically, right there. You can walk or you can take the tram.
Yeah.
And we took the tram. A lot of people wanted to take the tram, and it is literally just a free-for-all to get onto the tram. There's some sort of semblance of a line, but then when they open up the tram, people just kind of push and shove. It's just one big blob of people there. There's no organization. Like, when you get on rides at Disney, how there's specific lanes that you have to get into to line up with like the roller coaster cars. I really think they need to do painted lines or something on the floor that somewhat lines up with the tram doors. Because right now there's nothing. And because there's no specific delineated lines, you have way more people there than there are room.
Yeah, or even just have like a single lane that people have to funnel through to get to the tram. Like even if you don't like paint lines in the ground and have everybody line up, but just something to regulate it.
Yeah.
I think it was Andrew and Mare got shoved out of 2 different tram lines.
So I got shoved out of one. You guys got on, and I tried to get on as well, and somebody else cut in front of me, and I'm like, dude, that's my family. And they're like, sorry, we got on first. I'm like, but you were behind me. Whatever. Yeah. So I tried to get on the next one, and another family, I'm not a fast person, and another family just started shoving in front of me. I was like, I was here. I was literally front of the line. She's like, oh, well, we can squeeze in. I'm like, yes, thank you. I was not happy. And I was kind of figuring that, Andrew and Mare would be able to get on too, but they were not. And the next tram that came on, they got pushed out of the way again. Yeah. And they were like right at the front. They were at the line and they got pushed out again. Yeah. This could be done better.
It's ridiculous.
It's hot. People want to go and relax. And this is just a really crappy way to start a day.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. We all finally got to the cabanas.
They used to have it so you could get a ride from the ship over to the cabanas. They don't do that anymore.
I think they don't have enough staffing. I would like to think if they had enough staffing, they would continue to do that.
I saw
for the cabana guests.
They had like 6 or 7 of those big, huge golf carts just parked there. Not being used. I think it's the
staff. They didn't have the staff to do it.
There was a bunch of people standing around. It was not well done.
No.
This was like you said, this is the wrong way to start the day.
Yeah.
It was just not well handled by the Disney staff.
Something that I did notice, and you mentioned this last night when we were going through our pictures, there was never a photographer available to do pictures at the beach area.
Yep.
There used to be somebody that would go up and down the beach, the family beaches and the cabana beaches, and take pictures.
Yeah, they started at the cabanas and then they worked their way back towards the ship, and that never happened.
I don't know if they just haven't started this back up again, if they got rid of it, or if we just totally missed it. Now, we had somebody out at the cabana area the entire time we were there, except for lunches. But yeah, no pictures. We didn't see anybody.
No, the photographer was always first thing in the morning.
Okay.
But
still, we were there.
We were there. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, we still had a heck of a time there.
We had an amazing day.
It's nice, just a nice area. Castaway is very nice. The lunch was good.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling got to go over to Pelican Plunge and do the water slide a couple times.
Yeah.
We swam in the ocean. It just amazes me how warm the water is.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
It's like it's almost too warm.
Yeah, but we had a great day.
Mm-hmm.
So much fun, and we stayed to the bitter end.
Yep, we stayed as late as we could.
Yep, and it all worked out. And then it was. I remember we got back on the ship, and then most of us went back to the adult pool to keep on celebrating for a little bit. And then I kind of looked at my watch. I was like, oh crap, I gotta go pack.
Yeah.
And this is why we hate having Castaway on that last day.
Yeah.
Is, you're out in the sun, you're having a great day, and then you kind of undo all that by having to pack everything up and get everything out and ready to go by 10 o'clock or 10:30 or something like that to get all the stuff out of your room, all the bags out of your room for them to take off. So it was not ideal. And that's just the way the itinerary is.
Yeah.
Yes, Rob.
Yeah. That night was dinner at Animator's Palette.
Yes.
It had the show where you draw a person and it gets animated into a show, actually.
Yeah. This is fun.
Yeah.
We all did really cool characters. Alicia's was the first one that was animated at the very beginning of the show and looked really awesome. I think it may just be because I'm used to the one on the Wonder, the show at Animators on the Wonder. This is definitely a step above what they have on the Wonder in terms of animation quality, in terms of how the characters move about and things like that. And I don't recall there's kind of like a parade of all the characters and going through a song, and then they get animated in to various scenes from other cartoons as well. And I don't remember that second half from the Wonder, at least from when we've been on, that I can recall. So I really enjoyed the animation show. It was fun.
It's cute. I do like it. Yeah. We had a whole bunch of food.
Yes.
On this one, and I think you finally got a good grilled cheese.
I got a really good grilled cheese. Yeah.
I remember you had mentioned talking to the head server, and he had seen what one of them was one night, and was just like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, he said he relayed to me that he kind of talked to the kitchen and was like, "If this is how you do a grilled cheese, then you should not be cooking here." So yeah, these were really good.
And this was a pretty good menu this evening as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you had your grilled cheese.
I did.
I had multiple appetizers. Again, I had tomato caprese or caprese. I don't know how to say that. I just wanted the mozzarella and the basil. I don't eat the tomatoes. I had Malaysian chicken satay, which is delicious, lobster bisque, and it looks like Caitlin had a tomato soup.
Mm-hmm. I had a white cheddar and broccolini soup, which was
aw.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay.
Yeah. For the main course, I had garlic grilled marinated shrimp with linguine pasta. It was actually pretty good. It was a lot of food.
Yeah, I had a beef Wellington, filet beef Wellington. That was actually really good. I enjoyed that meal a lot.
And Caitlin had a grilled sirloin, and a baked potato.
Yeah.
Let's see, for desserts, I think Caitlin had something called a chocolate decadence. I had the orchard peach tart, which was delicious. Warm almond peach tart with vanilla sauce and ice cream.
Yep. And I ordered off of one of the other menus. I think it was the Royal Court menu, and got a old-fashioned apple pie.
There you go.
It was really good.
That works.
And of course, Sterling through all this is always having, chicken tenders, or
we tried to get him to branch out, but he's not ready yet.
A Mickey Premium bar, for dessert.
Or a sundae.
Exactly.
Yeah. The towel animal this evening was amazing.
Yes.
I've never seen anything like this before. Although we had multiple towel animals this trip that we've never seen before.
Yeah. This was really good. This was a seal that was reading a menu or some paper that was sitting in the room, but he was sitting upright against one of the pillows and had my glasses on him. Not my sunglasses, but my like regular glasses, and very studious.
Yes, I loved the seal. I thought it was really cute. It was holding just one of the pamphlets of information that we got from the beginning of the cruise from the concierge staff.
Yeah.
Let's see. What are some other things we could talk about?
We passed the Wish that night.
Yes, we did. It was on the other side of the boat from us, so we didn't get to see it.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah, it's too bad it wasn't during the daytime, so we could have had a horn battle.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yep.
I will note, so we had our concierge team this cruise was Jose, Fabiola, and Ashley, and all of them did phenomenally. Apparently, Jose was on the Panama Canal cruise with us in 2020. We were not on concierge, so did not talk with him about that too much. The team did great.
Yeah. We took
advantage. Yeah, we took advantage of the happy hours almost every evening. We can talk about that. That's
absolutely
fun. A couple of the things that I was thinking about that seemed to be missing that we have had in cruises in the past. With regards to concierge, we did not have a separate meeting with the captain.
Yeah, true.
We did not have a separate meeting that had
like a character meet and greet.
Character.
Mm-hmm.
Past cruises that we've done, we've had both of those, like just like a little happy hour or whatever you want to call it, where you get to talk to the captain, and a totally separate one where you get to meet a character.
Yep.
There was also no, I'm trying to think how to phrase this. There's usually a luncheon or something for gold or platinum cruisers.
Mm-hmm.
And there was not one on this cruise.
Yeah, interesting. And we'll see. Maybe the lack of the character interaction with concierge maybe that's back now. The cruise after us, I think, was when character hugs and things like that came back on the cruise ships.
Yeah.
So maybe that's eligible to be back now. I don't honestly remember seeing the captain and a bunch of the huge officer lineup out in the lobby like we've used to seeing them. So
I don't remember there being the captain's pin trading. There's a lot of stuff that is still missing that I remember from previous cruises.
Right. And so
not necessarily just concierge stuff either, just for overarching cruise things like the platinum dinner, luncheon, or whatever, meet and greet. That's not for concierge guests. That's for platinum guests.
Yeah.
They used to have one for gold too, but
I hope that some of that stuff comes back. We'll see. We'll be on the Wish in March. Mm-hmm. It's a shorter cruise. It's just a 4-night, but we will be in concierge. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens.
Yep. And we're doing Fantasy again next December. That is not a concierge cruise, but it is a maritime cruise. So I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely.
We got notification that there were 3,287 people on this cruise with us.
And we had heard that it was 3,600 from one of the folks in concierge. And my assumption is that it was 3,600 booked.
Yep.
And then there's about 3,200 or 3,300 folks who made it on.
Yep.
So I would say that there was probably somewhere around 313 people who did not make it on. So maybe almost a 10% test out rate with COVID. It was definitely going around fast and furious right before we left. I mean, obviously as evidenced by the fact that we missed our first cruise. Mm-hmm. So those are kind of the numbers as it were. It was still a lot of fun. I enjoyed this cruise immensely. I think some of the food and things like that, a little bit disappointing. We'll talk more about some of our experiences at Remy and Paulo next week. Remy was hands down incredible. Paulo food was great. We had a lackluster experience.
We'll talk more next time. We don't want to go into it right now.
This was a fun cruise, and I think the best part of it was just who we were there with.
Yes.
Hanging out with our friends for the week is no matter where we are, then we're having the time of our lives no matter what. So whether that's on shore or on a boat or wherever, who cares? The people that you're with are what makes any kind of event really special.
Definitely. What did we do for breakfast on the last day? Do you remember? Did we go to Cabanas? Did we sit down somewhere?
I think you guys headed off to Cabanas. I just grabbed a quick snack at the concierge lounge. The last express concierge debarkation time is 8:15.
Oh, that's right. That's when our breakfast was supposed to be.
And our breakfast was at 8:15 or 8:20, I think. And so we skipped that and got off the ship. I think in hindsight, that was probably not the right decision to make. I think we should have stayed around and had breakfast with everybody and then just hung around as long as possible and part of the last push of folks off. I will note that, we had a porter helping us with our bags and getting out of the port. And we took the Mickey bus back to the airport. But the porter was mentioning basically that 8:15 time, we got down, there wasn't too much of a wait to get to our bags. And then we had maybe 10 minutes ish, maybe a little short of that, snaking through the lines to get out through immigration and things like that. He did mention that right after us, and we could see it right after us, there was a huge wave of people who came off. And he basically said, from the 8:20, that 8:30 mark, I think is when they let kind of general boarding or disembarkation off, or when it starts, there is a huge crush of people, and it is really, really busy at that point. So if you are looking to get off quickly or soon, you want to, try to get there, get off by 8:15. If you have time, I stay as long as you can, and clean, be on the cleanup crew at the end, if you will, and head out that way. We didn't have anywhere really to go. We took the Mickey bus to the airport, and we're not meeting a flight. We had another rental car set up, and we were headed off to Universal. So, and it took a long time for that room to be ready. So we really did not do ourselves a favor. So but oh well. Hey, we were taking advantage of the last concierge perk we had.
True.
It was content. We sacrificed for you, our dear listeners.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I think that's the quick-ish rundown of not so quick. That was our rundown of part of our cruise this past August. We enjoyed it immensely. I loved being back on a Disney ship.
Yeah.
If I could do multiple cruises every year, I definitely would. Concierge was nice, but it's not a must-do. It is definitely a heck of a lot more expensive to do concierge, but I don't think it's needed. There are definitely some perks with doing it, but I think you can still have a heck of a good time without having to spend that much for a room.
Yep.
Especially if you're there with other people.
Yep. Wonder's still my favorite ship.
Yep. I agree.
The fantasy class or dream class, whatever. Nice. Some interesting design choices, like the whole maze back there of restrooms areas, and things like that in the adult area. Like, I don't understand what they were thinking of. It's just weird.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those spaces are too small, the adult spaces, that is. And the Wonder is still
Wonder's still our ship.
Yep.
We don't have plans to go on it anytime right now in the future, but I'm sure that will change.
Will change.
Yeah. Hopefully it will continue to stay on the West Coast, and then we'll definitely take advantage of that after it's done with all of its South Pacific shenanigans.
Yes.
Now that that's coming.
Indeed we will.
Well, wanted to let you all know, we had a phenomenal time. Next time like we have said, we are going to be talking about the adult dining and libations on the Fantasy.
Absolutely. Of which we can absolutely give you lots of experience and some behind the scenes looks, if you will.
We are not lushes, I promise. We just drink a lot when we're on Disney.
That's it. Pretty much.
We are not affiliated with Disney and we are not travel agents. We just like to offer our opinions and suggestions. We do recommend working with a travel agent to plan your perfect vacation.
If you have any questions or suggestions for us, please shoot us an email. You can find us at podcast@adventuresandmousecapades.com. You can also give us a follow on socials. We're at Our Mousecapades. And of course, give us a rating and review in your favorite podcast app because that really helps people find us.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.